Welcome back to PintheQ podcast. We are in Island Heights, New Jersey, Ocean County, and I'm going to get picked on because we're in Ocean County yet again. But I don't care. I don't care. I like Ocean County. We're going to continue to do as many episodes in Ocean County as we can. And what did you say to me before about Ocean County when I talked about the guests?
There's some incredible talent in Ocean County.
That is true. So we're here with Chief Brian Gabriel in Island Heights, which is a pretty cool house, very old, historic house with this pretty cool backdrop. I mean, people would pay to have this backdrop, and we get it for free.
It's a beautiful truck.
And it's pretty cool stuff. So this is episode 11, which is pretty ironic considering that you are
Car 11.
Car 11 and the Ocean County Fire Coordinator, on top of some other cool things you're doing. Chief, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So why don't you start off by telling everybody who you are and how this all got started?
Well, everybody knows my name now.
They
already
do.
mentioned it.
They did.
Joined Island Heights Fire Company in 1981.
Okay.
Were you in diapers then?
No. I was out of diapers by then.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Been there for 38 years.
Okay.
Great little engine company here. We get a lot of jobs over in Toms River. We run with them a lot.
Right.
It's a cool firehouse. 1895. We're 123 or 124 years old.
Wow.
I think we're the third oldest in the county.
Wow. I didn't even realize it was that old.
Yeah, I think it's Beach Haven and Ocean Fire Company and Point. One of those two up there.
Okay.
They're a couple years older than us. Not that it's a competition, but
Right.
We've been around for a long time.
Well, a lot of history, and just this alone, this is
Yeah.
this kind of proves that point. Now, did you guys get this piece initially?
No, this was made for someone else.
Okay.
And I don't know what the whole story was, whether they either couldn't afford it in the end or whatever, but our fire company picked this up a few years later in the early 30s. It's a 1928 Aaron's Fox.
Oh, sweet. But this was actively being used, and it was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
That's awesome.
This truck is crazy.
So how did you get involved in firefighting?
Well, my dad was a member. I mean, he joined in 1956.
Here in Island Heights?
Here in Island Heights.
Okay.
And him and my mother joined at the same time. She joined the auxiliary. He joined the fire company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And, he was chief in the early 60s, helped build this place. And, I joined in 81. I was a firehouse rat as a kid.
Right.
Friday nights, even though I wasn't supposed to be here, I was here.
Yeah, like most members I talk to, it's all the same.
Run down the road and run behind the fire truck as fast as you could to get there and watch, or help help afterwards. We didn't have Explorers back then.
Right.
So, come down here on Friday nights, help them pack hose, roll hose, whatever.
So
just to be here. So I was here every Friday night.
That's great. And what I did notice when I was walking around a little bit beforehand is there's a few different Gabriels here.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, my mom's dad was a member.
Okay.
Then my father joined. Then I joined. Then my sister's son, Dustin, who you met a few minutes ago, he joined. Right. And then my brother's son, Richard, joined. He's a captain now here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's always fun to. I was just recently in Surf City, with Wolf Schmidt, and you remember the episode, and it was cool too. He said the same thing. It's that small town feel where you get everybody kind of pitching in.
It's like I call them like legacy families.
Right.
You have the Wilburs. You had the Camburns. You got the Gabriels, the Parks.
Right.
There's not a lot of those left anymore.
No,
people just don't have the time.
No, absolutely not. So tell me a little bit about Island Heights and how you operate here as a company.
Island Heights is a small little borough, about a square mile. Typical small town, not a huge budget.
Right.
We don't have a fire tax or commissioners or anything like that. So pretty much we're self-sufficient. Depending on our town administration depends on how much support we get from the town.
Okay.
We've had years where we've gotten great support. They've helped us with a couple trucks or whatever the case may be, and now we have a new administration in town, and they're looking to help us more.
Good.
There's a lot to it, but we fundraise an awful lot.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point where you're part of those departments. It's hard.
Yeah.
You got a family, you got a job, you come down here to train, you got your business meetings, and then you got to go raise money.
Right. So it's not only just the training that you have to stay on top of, which is so demanding in itself. You're always going to classes. You got to maintain your certifications.
Yep.
And then you're going to be a line officer. That's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yep.
And absolutely. Now add fundraising to that.
And we do a lot of it.
Talk about some of them.
Well, we do a $10,000 raffle, 100-hour tickets.
Wow, that's big.
Sell it out every year.
Okay.
We do Summer Brew, which
Yes.
is a huge event in the
Everyone
back
knows
parking
about
lot.
that, right.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge moneymaker for us. And we get creative. I mean, we've rented our parking lot to a car dealer just to make some extra income.
Wow.
We do a lot of stuff. We did a thing called Trucktoberfest this fall down at the Wanamaker Field.
Okay.
The first year, 1,200 people. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, right out of the gate, that's a lot of people
It's a lot of
for a first-year event.
first year event.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And the committee that put that together, they bust their ass, and it's just a lot of time, and they do a great job with it.
And it brings us right back to center where, it's all this extra.
And all that extra money,
Right.
That pays the gas bill, pays the electric bill. I mean, pays for the trucks. I mean, the town helped us with one truck, but, we take on a lot of stuff ourselves.
And let me ask you this. How many times do the members are spinning wrenches themselves to get things done around here?
Every Friday night.
Right.
Every Friday night. We have drills first and third Fridays.
Right.
Friday nights are our drill nights. They always have been. Some guys do it during the week. When we train across the highway with Eastover, we do it on their night. Some nights they'll come to us. But if some of the older guys aren't going out on the training,
Right.
they're here spinning a wrench, changing light bulbs, cleaning shit houses, whatever.
Right. And the thing is, not everybody who watches this show is a firefighter. And, sometimes I'll get messages from people and like, hey, I watched the episode and I had no idea that they actually did all that.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting.
Then throw in the town events, the stuff you do for the kids, for the school, fire prevention. There's a whole litany of things that this fire company does for the community. And it's, they give back, we give back.
And it's amazing, too, because, how many of those kids that were sitting in the audience at the elementary school while you were giving your fire prevention, talk, and now when they become of age or become firefighters, and it all kind of stemmed back to when you were at their elementary school. So that stuff really impactful.
Absolutely is.
It's good stuff. So you talked about your budget here, being kind of a shoestring, right, would you say?
Well, we're pretty well-oiled machine here right now.
Good.
You have to bring in a lot. There's a lot of overhead with firefighting.
Well, that's where I was getting to. So, where's the money coming from? If the budget isn't where you need it to be and you want to get additional equipment, I mean, those that don't know Island Heights Fire Department, you do a lot for a small town. I mean, you have a boat.
We have fireboat. We're an engine company. We
do ice rescue.
We do a lot of that.
Right.
But
not every company's doing all the high-speed shit you're doing. That's what I'm saying. So
but we have a couple of things we do well.
Right.
We have a great fireboat.
And that costs money.
It costs money.
Right. Break out another 1,000.
Break out another 10,000.
A boat,
When a motor goes, break out another 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
And pumps, you got to replace them because you're salt water. You're replacing them all the time.
Right.
So, but the boat, great asset.
Oh, absolutely.
Great asset for anywhere along
here. You're up and down this river all summer.
North of the bridge, south of the bridge.
Right.
We get called all over the place for the boat. And then we have the 2 engines.
Okay.
Used to have a brush truck, but that's kind of gone by the wayside over the years.
Right.
And, but we're an engine company.
So you have the two engines, and then you have this.
Yep.
Okay,
and
cool.
then we have all our ice rescue stuff.
Right, I see all that over there.
Yeah.
All right. So how demanding is that training, the boat training, the ice rescue training on top of
the
this?
boat training? The guys are out on the boat all the time in the summer.
Okay.
Either driver training or going out and we'll pick a mooring and just let a guy just drive up to it and drive away from it and just practice. Getting close to boats in windy conditions, calm conditions.
Right.
Throwing rescue rings, whatever.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
No, it's good that you have some other things to offer out. Plus it keeps the members interested. It keeps them interested in other things outside of just fire calls. So you're in Eastover quite a bit, correct?
Yeah, we run with those guys 6 in the morning, 6 at night.
Oh, the first alarm assignment?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that started back in the I'm going to say the mid '80s.
Okay.
For whatever reason,
Yeah, it makes sense. You're right here.
We're right there, and the 2 chiefs said, something, we need to start running together automatic.
Yeah, good.
And it's worked great.
So it's good that everybody's able to work
Right.
together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. So why don't you tell me about this?
Yeah, this thing's a beauty. I love driving it. Not a lot of our guys can drive it,
right.
But it's awesome. We've taken this thing to Hackettstown for their 100th anniversary. Guys used to take it to Valhalla, New York for pumping competitions.
Wow. Did you trailer it? Drove it.
Up the Parkway.
Wow.
Up the Parkway.
That's amazing.
Cool little story. When we went to Hackettstown, it was 1990. It was like a month or two before our 100th anniversary.
Okay.
And, we hooked up with Hackettstown down at the Wildwood a number of years ago, so they invited us up to their big thing.
Right.
13 guys in this thing.
Holy cow.
We left at, I think, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning on the running boards. I don't have to tell you what's in the coolers.
Yeah.
And we're going
iced tea.
Going up the Parkway, with iced teas.
Right.
And here comes a trooper. I'm standing on this driver's side. John Cameron's driving, and the trooper comes up and rolls his window down. He goes, I don't even think I want to know, but where the hell are you guys going?
Fire.
We said, Hackettstown. He goes, where? He said, Hackettstown. He goes, I'll radio ahead. Have a good day. But we've been all over the place with this thing.
That's
it's
cool.
An awesome truck. When this thing's running a lot,
right,
it runs like a Cadillac on the road.
And
no power steering, by the way.
So you guys have some upper body strength to be able to chauffeur this thing.
Yeah, usually sometimes a guy in the passenger seat, if you want to call that a passenger seat,
it's not much.
We'll assist on grabbing the wheel to turn to the right.
That's close quarters. You gotta.
That's all right.
That's what the brotherhood's all about, right there. Right, when you're that close.
Yeah, and the guy standing there, and the guy in the seat says, "Hey, move over a little bit, block the wind." Yeah, so it's a cool rig. I think it's the only one of its kind left.
Well, that was my next question. This is it.
Yeah, this is it. We were told that there was 4 of these made, and I think 2.
4 in the whole world.
Well, that's
4.
What I don't know if you remember a guy by the name of Whitey Schwartz. He used to
I've heard the name.
He used to be the fire coordinator down in Atlantic County, and he actually had a fire museum down there. I think I'm sure his family is keeping that thing. It's like all kinds.
I would hope so. Yeah.
He knew more about this truck than anybody in the world.
Wow.
And I think he said the 2 of them were lost in a fire, and one of them either just fell apart from lack of maintenance.
But right.
This thing's one of a kind.
So is it fair to say this is a pride and joy to this company?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how cool is it when you see newer firefighters coming in and they're like polishing this thing, keeping and maintaining it. It keeps the history and tradition alive.
Well, it does, and we've had times where obviously you lose a guy or two when he gets older,
right?
And the hose bed turns into a
funeral piece.
Yep, funeral piece.
Right. But again, I think it's special that you guys keep that memory alive and keep this thing. It's absolutely beautiful. It's obviously well maintained.
Santa detail. Santa Claus goes up on top, and everybody's on the running boards, running candy canes to the kids, whatever. Yeah.
Actually, I follow your Facebook page, and I saw it on there.
Yeah.
With Santa on the back of that thing. So that's
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So outside of the obvious beauty of it, I mean, is it still do pump testing? Does it still pump?
We don't do pump testing on it.
Okay.
We probably need to do that again, but it can still pump.
Really? And it runs strong, you're saying?
It runs like a top. I told you, if you'd had more time, we'd gone for a ride before we started this.
It's so cool. Yeah. I like it. And this stuff is good for new members too, man. It really is.
Yeah. We actually redid these running boards in '95 before our 100th anniversary, and this is like a real heavy duty vinyl.
Right.
The only guy who knew where to get it was Whitey. He goes, call this guy in Pennsylvania, some podunk town in the middle of Pennsylvania in the Appalachian Mountains, and this guy had rolls of it.
No kidding.
Yep.
It's amazing when you start losing those guys. People don't realize it's over.
It's over.
And this, how are you getting parts for it? Right? I mean, someone's going to have to manufacture the parts for this now.
You can substitute some stuff. I'm not an engine guy, but we got some pretty crafty guys here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Every company has that one or two, Bob Vila or, the mechanics. MacGyver, yeah. That's good. That's awesome. So,
cool truck, though.
I just want to circle back. You said that, you guys are working on a budget. You rely on fundraising.
Heavily.
So what do you do when you need something like big ticket, like new packs? Well, a tick. How do you get that money?
We were pretty fortunate. We got a grant for our packs, and you saw them inside.
Right.
So we got a big grant for that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we got a grant back in the '90s for packs and gear.
Okay.
So we're pretty resourceful.
Good.
We have a grant committee. That
was my next question.
They're active all the time.
Yeah.
And those guys are great.
Because the more companies I talk to that don't have they're not fire districts. They don't have a budget. They don't have a fire budget. Fire tax. I mean, it's
Yeah, we used to do bingo here. I mean,
oh
my
God.
God.
Let me tell you something.
If there's about a nightmare.
Yeah, I know it. I lived it. Okay.
Dude,
we used to do bingo in Beechwood, and it was the worst thing ever because
it was horrible.
The people were nasty. They were so mean. And me and like 10 other kids would have to park the cars outside, like get the cars all situated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, well, our hall used to be, I mean, our hall's a quarter of the size smaller now. We made some alterations, and so
Right.
we got rid of bingo. And you never used to be able to see the back wall of the firehouse because of the smoke, because it was cigarette.
Oh, God, that too.
You had to take 3 showers when you got home. You smell like a goddamn ashtray. Oh, I'm serious.
I know. Listen, I'm
I
laughing
never
because-
wanted to be the guy that had to go clean the ladies' bathroom. Sorry. It was bad.
I'm only laughing because
Bad.
I literally experienced that. So we
Men's
had it.
bathroom wasn't much better.
It was
Oh,
terrible.
God.
It was, no offense. If your company's doing bingo,
Disgusting.
I have so much respect for you, and you can continue to do that because I am done with bingo.
Well, I actually came back as president the second time
Did you get rid of it?
just to get rid of it. Well, it wasn't done. We felt it was going to the point where it wasn't worth our time.
Right, right.
And, it played out that it really wasn't worth our time.
Listen, I'm sure there's some companies watching right now, like, that's their moneymaker.
Hey, and
because
some, and
they
some
show
of them,
up.
and some of them do well with it.
Yeah, they show up.
They do great with it, and I understand it.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever works, you got to be resourceful.
I was just going to say, sometimes you got to do whatever you got to do just to
Absolutely.
make that money. All right, so we talked about some fun stuff. Tell me some of these calls that you've been on that impacted you the most. What comes to mind?
There's so many calls. I mean, I try not to let the stuff impact me, but I mean, like a lot of your local guests here that you've had,
Yeah.
Sandy. I mean, Sandy, the boardwalk fire. The boardwalk fire. I mean, when you think you're going to be able to keep it at a block, and you go out to take a look, and it's already past you.
Right.
And then you get to the there were some historic sections of that boardwalk, and the Carousel Arcade comes to mind.
Tell me about that.
Well, just it was the Seaside guy. I mean, I remember it vividly. The Seaside guys were actually inside that building with hand lines, doing everything they could to protect that arcade, that carousel.
Yeah, a historic piece
of it. History and the amusements and the boardwalks scene. But there was just a wall of fire coming down the boardwalk, and I happened to be at that end of the boardwalk for the fire, and I basically had to go in there and say, guys, you got to get out. We got to go.
How difficult is that?
Well, it was hard because some of those guys, that's where they grew up.
Right.
Right. And some of those guys, their family owns part. They own part of the boardwalk.
Right. So
Some
it's
of those
even more personal than
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That was it doesn't affect me, but you sit up and you think about it. What could we have done different?
Right.
Could we have done anything different? I beat that through my head all the time over there by that thing.
Yeah.
And I do that with a lot of fires. I won't sleep when I come home.
Okay. And then in the same breath, you're telling me it doesn't affect you, but you're losing sleep.
But it affects you.
It does. It absolutely does.
There's
bro.
no doubt about it.
That's my point.
So, Sandy was just a wild awakening right there, in a whole different light. You're not putting fire out.
Right.
And no one's ever been through something like that before.
No.
And one of the most eeriest moments for me was one of the first nights we could get across the bridge. We had, one of my deputies was handling the LBI in the Stafford area, and then a couple guys at the EOC, and
right.
I was up in the Toms River sector and over the bridge, and one night it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I went up and over the bridge, and I stopped at the top of the bridge, and I got out of my truck.
This is the bridge that's going into Seaside.
Yeah, going into Seaside, and just stopped and got out.
Right.
And it was like the most eerie feeling in the world. There wasn't 360, not one light.
Wow.
Not one light. And the only thing you could see was the glow of the brick beach fires.
Yeah, like 28 homes are burning at the time.
Like 115, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
They're all small bungalows, but
Yeah,
they're all individual. Somebody owns each one of those,
Right.
And there was nothing anybody could do to get to them.
Right. I remember Chief Aldrich talking about that specific fire, and he's like, he said for him as a deputy coordinator, like trying to go to this chief and saying, "There's nothing I can do. There's nothing anybody can do."
No.
How do you face as a coordinator? You're the resource guys, right? You're the ones that make it all happen. So when you go to them and say you can't do anything, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how are you going to get your stuff there?
Right.
You got to factor safety into things too.
Oh, absolutely.
So it just wasn't safe, wasn't practical, wasn't possible. I mean, when you have houses that are sitting on Route 35, how are you going to get resources to it?
Right.
So
yeah, and that's it's not like who trains for that. unless you're in USAR. I mean, what local companies train for that type of?
Not to that extent.
No one was ready for that.
But Sandy was a bear the morning before it hit.
Right.
I mean, that all started, I think, at like 9 or 10 in the morning with the fire in Ocean Gate at the
yes.
the deli with the apartments above it.
That's correct. Yep.
And then Mystic Island had a couple fires because they had flooding early because of where they are. They had a couple fires, and then it was in the evening. Shit was getting real.
Oh yeah,
Shit was getting really real, and I was at the EOC.
Right.
And Pine Beach had 2 fires.
That's right.
On the same street.
Yep. Yeah, with gas lines or something, right?
Trees hit the gas lines.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I came cranking out of the EOC, and on my way there, I would have sworn I heard firemen down. And it turned out not to be the case.
Right.
But that kind of amped things up a little bit, and you're dodging trees going down.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that because you used to ride with 17.
Yep.
And Kenny Anderson was in charge of the second fire because they couldn't get to it because there was oak trees just laying across all the roads, and they were able to access it from the backside.
Right.
So they said, "We're good here. Kenny needs." So I went down and helped Kenny, and he's like, "I got to get an engine in the back." I said, "Well," he said, "go figure it out." So I walk over in the back of the house, and I'm like, there's trees down everywhere. So I could hear the 17 engine coming, and we had him stage the street before.
Right.
So I walked up, and guy comes out the back of his door, and he goes, I said, "Yeah, there's a fire down the street." I said, "We got a problem." I said, "I can't get the engine down the road." I said, "Would you have a problem if the engine drove through your hedgerow?" The guy goes, "Dude," he goes, "I don't give a shit what you do. Go ahead." He says,
Yeah.
So they just went right over the hedgerow.
Yeah, good.
There was a hydrant right there. They hit the hydrant, went in, and the 17 boys they're good boys, good firefighters. They pulled the deuce and a half and just whacked it. But that just kicked things off for Sandy. I mean, we didn't even know what was coming.
No. And then once you got into the meat and potatoes of Sandy, I mean, how the hell do you coordinate that?
Well, we have the county mutual aid plan, and there's a statewide mutual aid plan that we're all a part of.
Right.
And every county prepares an out-of-county task force or multiples. So through the regional coordinator and the state coordinators, we actually we were able to put together strike teams and task forces to come in from 17 of the 21 counties ended up coming in Ocean County.
Oh, I know. I remember seeing companies from all over the place.
Yeah, well, we planned all that,
right.
And we were doing 24-hour operational periods. And as soon as their period was over, we had another group staged at the office lounge parking lot there. That was like our staging area. And we would just guide them in there.
And then on top of that, you have, other companies that are, freelancing, but for good reason.
Well, but we didn't have a lot of that. We had one group, and I ended up having to handle that, which, I didn't want to have to do that, but I had
especially
to do
when
that.
people are trying to help,
Well, they're trying to help, but when you say, "How did you get here?" and they're saying, "Well," and all of a sudden their story doesn't jive,
Yeah.
Who's covering them for insurance?
Right. And that's the part of it. Everybody wants to pitch in and help, and they want to do the right thing, which is doing the right thing. But at the same time, there's all these other things in the back end of it.
The thing with Sandy, that was, some of the bigger departments in the county, they don't need help all the time, not very often. But when you're getting phone calls from chiefs of big departments, what we consider big departments in Ocean County, saying, "Dude, I need relief here."
Yeah.
When Bobby Stinnott saying, "My guys are spent.
Yeah.
Half my guys lost their homes."
Yeah.
And they've made friends with other counties and departments that they'll be friends, brothers forever.
Oh God, yeah. You never sever that relationship ever.
When's Bayville need 24-hour coverage? When's Tom's River need relief like that?
Ever. Hardly ever.
But when the phone, they needed it.
And poor, talk about Stinnott, Bobby. I mean, that guy. Right.
Oh, his own home got crushed.
Right.
Yeah.
And he lost everything. And so I think of him, and now he's lost everything. He has guys in his department that have lost everything. Mm-hmm. And then yet he has to somehow
pull it together
and drive forward and make sure that he's helping others. And that's what he did.
He did an awesome job.
I don't think he even slept for days, Bobby.
I'm going to tell you, I think maybe I got 2-3 hours the first 3 or 4 days, but it is what it is. But Brick, same thing with Brick, the 21 and 22 guys, that low lying. I mean, some of their guys lost their homes and they were out of commission. Yeah. They needed help. They needed manpower. But we had that all arranged in advance. We had 9 days worth of deployment planned out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And it worked. Good. It worked great.
And that's all the behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows going on.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the great thing about what you do as a fire coordinator. You're able to facilitate, some of that stuff. And speaking of the fire coordinator, right? Why don't you talk about Mike a little bit?
What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that's Mike right here.
Yeah.
If I don't know if you could see the picture. I hope you can. I have it there. Mikey Davenport.
He was kind of bigger than life.
He was.
Yeah. Yeah. I was chief here in 92, 93, 94. So I guess it was 95, 96. I went to all the chiefs meetings. I mean, when you became an officer in Island Heights,
right,
you're going to the chiefs meetings whether you want to go to or not. You're going to be a part of it.
Good.
That was the way my chief ran the show, and we all went. I went to every chiefs meeting, and you get to network there.
Yeah,
you get to meet guys.
It's phenomenal.
You're meeting guys like you're meeting guys like Bigger, Mike DeLea Sr.
I love Bigger.
I mean, who doesn't? Mikey DeLea Sr. I looked up to that guy. Career guy in Lakewood when they were a one-man show.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, just all the guys, and I'll never forget it. It was like I think it was the December meeting at Point Borough, and him and Ray Van Martyr come up to me and said, in the fall of '96, they go, "You're running for, we're putting you up for Zone 1 coordinator." No, you're not. He said, "Oh, yes, we are." He says, I'm moving up to Chief Coordinator." He says, "You're going to be the Zone 1 coordinator." I said, "I don't think so." He goes, "You don't have a choice. You're doing it." So that's how that all started. It was him and Ray were sitting there at the meeting and like, "Tag, you're it."
Yeah.
So we had fun. We had fun. Oh, my God, we had fun. We had fun. I could tell you stories for days about him. We used to practical joke with each other.
Yeah, everyone I talked to about Mike Davenport all said the same thing. I mean, I knew Mike. I met him a few times, but I, unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure of being friends with him, so I didn't know him well, like many other people knew him.
He used to pick me up. We used to go to fires.
Oh yeah,
because he lived over in Eastover. He's, "Dude, I'm picking you up. We're going to the base. The roof's on fire. Hangar 1, or we're going here."
Yeah, he was all over the place, right? That's what he was well known for. That.
Well, he was a county road supervisor, so he had the yellow and blue truck and pick me up. We'd go everywhere, meetings, you name it.
What kind of things did he talk about when you talked to him?
Oh, but he was like, he go do it.
Right.
Go do it.
Right.
A lot of times we would be at calls. They may not have needed 2 coordinators, but they needed a manpower. You go to work. Okay. You don't say that twice. Not to me.
And when Mike told you to do something, you just did it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in 90, after the 95 forest fire that came through the back of Whiting and Lacey and Bamber.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, no organization whatsoever. And that's when forest fire and some of the chiefs in the county and, level-headed guys came together and created our forest fire plan.
Oh, okay.
And the spring of '97, my first year as deputy coordinator, I'm not sure if it was I think it might have been the Wrangell Brook or one of the Wrangell Brook, I can't keep track of the name, Wrangell Brook or Jake's Branch fire, came through the back of Holiday City.
Oh, I remember that fire.
Tommy Haney was chief of Manitou at the time.
Yes.
So I go tooling out there.
Right.
I was, all right, it's my first job as a deputy coordinator. God. So I'm calling Mike.
A trial by fire, no pun intended.
Mike goes, "Have fun." He goes, I'm on the state forest fire truck. It's all you. Oh boy, here we go.
Wow, that's literally trial by fire.
It was. So my first thing was to try to find Tommy, and Tommy was off the back of his chief's rig.
Right.
The fire was just blowing on these houses, and he's back there with a hand line. I'm going, "Hey Tom," he goes, "What do you need, Chief?" I said, "No." I said, we got to come set up a command post." He's like, "Shit." So we went and did that, and we implemented the plan. And Ray Van Martyr was there as the fire marshal.
Oh yeah.
And we're calling all these strike teams and stuff, and like the way that the plan was set up was good on paper.
Right.
But it wasn't working. Like our first plan was the resources were supposed to meet at a certain spot and then all rolling together. Didn't work. we're stuck in traffic. We're this. This engine's out of service.
All things you never planned for.
Right. So Ray and I made like kind of an executive decision on the fly. We're like, nope, scrap that. Just come straight into the scene. We'll do a staging area here.
Right.
And that was our first big change to the plan after that. But pretty much after every forest fire, we've changed based upon what you learn and modify it, make it better.
And that's how important a debrief is.
But that's the way Mike was though. He's like, nope, you're fire. Go for it.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm playing forest fire today.
Yeah.
So okay, whatever. But
everyone I've ever talked to about Mikey, they all like admired him. They loved him. They miss him so much. I mean.
Oh my God! When I got that call that day, oh my God, that was horrible.
Right.
That was horrible. I mean, and then you go to where he lived.
Walk me through that call.
Well, I was at work, and I happened to be in Tom's River, and I left my cell phone in the car because I was in a burnt out building, so I can go back to. So I don't know if somebody pulled up or I went out to my car and I looked at my phone. I'm like, who the hell is calling me? Like, my phone is lighting up like a Christmas tree.
Right.
So I called somebody back. It was in my office, and guy says, "Hey," he says, "you need to call the county or what?" I forget exactly what he said. He goes, "Something happened." I'm like, "Davenport." I'm like, oh shit! Like, get on the phone, dead.
Yeah.
Dead at Chestnut Street there, wherever the garage was.
Right.
That was horrible. And then go to his house and meet up with all the guys that. And listen, there's plenty of guys in this county that know Mike a whole lot better than I do from their experiences with working with him. And I mean, you talk about some of the guys that Mike mentored. Artie Reese and Joey Paola. It just it's so tight with Joe Jupert.
One guy comes to mind for
Kenny
me.
Balfrey, all those guys.
Is Keith Meissner. Keith
Oh,
and him
yeah,
were really tight. I know it affected him greatly.
But and I don't mean to. I'm not trying to single out. You can't mention all the names that this guy touched.
Right.
So I don't mean to offend somebody.
No, I know. I just when he comes to mind, I remember how he took it. And at the time he was with Manitou, 18, and yeah, it's tough, man. To lose people like that, especially a mentor. Some of that.
Him and I was talking to Jay. Jay and I were at 69's dinner last night in
Sonnenfeld?
Yeah. So we were talking about Mike a little bit. I said, yeah, I used to piss him off because he'd give me a radio. Back at the time, we were on 154s.
Yes. And whole high band.
Yeah. And my portable just blew his away for whatever reason. So wherever we were to call together, he'd try to call the county. Wouldn't work. Hey, want me to take care of that for you? He'd get pissed. He'd get pissed.
And he'd show up anywhere with gear, like, I'm ready to go to work.
Oh, yeah. No. He kept his gear right in the back of his truck, his county truck.
Yeah.
So he was like, he was the man, Just, he was the man.
That's awesome.
But that was a hard funeral, let me tell you. I'll never forget that ever. Never forget that.
Yeah, there's some that just stick with you, man.
I did the eulogy and,
You did?
Oh, yeah. And I had, a lot of guys standing next to me, that meant a lot to Mike and had the same experiences with him. He's just bigger, the big dude, man, bigger than life.
Bigger than life, for sure.
So and I was really content with being the Zone 1 guy. I had no aspirations or thoughts about being the chief coordinator.
Right.
I really didn't.
So
I figured him and I were, we're going to do our thing with the other guys, the other zones for a long time. It just didn't play out.
Those are big shoes to fill.
No, you can't fill his shoes. Yeah. You cannot fill his shoes.
Right.
And I sit there and I'm going, I sometimes I feel like I'm kind of a letdown because I just can't do it the way he does it. He just touched so many people.
Yeah.
But times are different now, though. I mean, when he was the coordinator is when the whole thing with the state came up with the after 9/11, the Resource and Deployment Act.
Right.
And him and I talked about that a lot, about how it was going to change things drastically. And that's when all the NIMS training and stuff started.
Yep.
The 100s to 200s to 300s to 400s, and it was crazy. And then he died.
If you could say one thing to Mike right now, and I'm sure he's watching.
Oh, I cuss at him all the time. Anytime there's a big job,
right,
and the shit's hitting the fan, I look up in the air. I'm going, "Thanks, you asshole." I do, and it's just what we used to do with each other,
Right.
Yeah. I played a good trick. I wrote one quick story, and I told it told it at his eulogy. So, back in the day, we used to go to these meetings. Not every car had like the heated seats in it.
Right.
Well, my company car had kind of heated seats. So we're tool. I don't know if we were going to Stafford or for a meeting or whatever we're going. So I was like, I'm going to play a little joke on him. So before he gets in the car, I went to pick him up. I put his heated seat on. and I had, something covering the center so you couldn't see the lights.
Right.
So we hit the Parkway, and we're going down the Parkway. And I'm like, dude, you don't look right. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, I'm getting the freaking sweats. He goes, I think I'm getting freaking sick. He goes, we might have to turn around. So I'm going, no, you'll be fine. We're tooling down the Parkway, and we get to like the exit. He's like, dude, he goes, you got to get back on the Parkway. He goes, I'm like out of it. He goes, I am sweating, cold sweat. So I lift the cover off the thing. I said, oh, shoot, your heated seat was on. He almost knocked me through the driver's door. He was so pissed off at me. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was awesome. We used to play, but he played practical jokes with everybody, though.
Yeah.
Come on. But when it was time to be serious, I mean, he was all business, man.
Yeah,
all
no,
business.
he definitely was. And that's why he was so respected, because he didn't mess around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he knew how to have fun when it was time to have fun.
Right.
And when it was time to be serious, we were always serious.
No, definitely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So you say his shoes can't be filled, but you're doing the best you can. So tell me what it's like to be coordinator.
It's interesting.
Chief coordinator.
It's interesting. Okay. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't. Now that
so you love it.
I love it.
Okay.
It's a lot of work. My guys, there's 5 deputies.
Okay.
Tell
me about them.
None of it's possible without those guys. Okay. They're all past chiefs of their departments.
Okay.
They're all live in their zones. They have all the training, and these guys are awesome. I mean, you look at Jay. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
All of them. Yeah. Jay, Kyle, Chris, Dennis, Tommy Mack. We call him Ox.
Right.
They're sorry for that.
That's all right.
All the pipe breaks and fire alarms.
Oh yeah, they're gonna all start happening now.
Yeah, but no, these guys are awesome. I mean, every 2 years we got to review our county mutual aid plan. So I'm like, you got to get this. They know what to do. We have it all on Dropbox, iPad, and Kyle Grace is like, he's phenomenal with that stuff. I couldn't do it.
Right.
Unless I had a secretary, but obviously we don't. Yeah.
They're lucky to have him over there. Kyle,
Kyle's awesome.
Awesome resource.
He's the biggest radio whacker.
Trust me.
Biggest radio whacker in the world.
I was just going to say that. If you have any questions about the radio, just ask him.
He knows more than Motorola does.
I'm sure he does. I can't believe they haven't took him yet. It's like, you're coming to work for us now.
Yeah, but like I said, my guys are great.
Right.
They run their zones. I don't go to all the calls anymore. There's no reason for it.
Well, it's nice to have people you can depend on.
Absolutely.
That you don't have to micromanage.
No, not at all.
That's great.
If there's something big, then I'll go. But they manage their own zone. But you can't do it without those guys.
There's no way.
They're awesome. They're awesome.
So, what are some of the challenges you're facing as a coordinator, chief coordinator?
Well,
in 2019.
2019 challenges. All the meetings you have to go to. Meetings. Planning meetings,
right?
State meetings, county meetings, OEM meetings, chiefs meetings, regional meetings, working group meetings. There's meetings upon meetings upon meetings.
Now, who do you report to?
Well, technically we fall under the sheriff.
Okay.
The sheriff makes the appointment, which then goes up to the state. The Chiefs Association makes a recommendation.
Okay.
Goes to the sheriff, and then boom, up to the state. And then the way that the deputies are appointed is they are appointed at the Chiefs Association meeting by the chiefs in their specific zone.
Oh.
Right. To me, it takes the politics out of it.
Yeah.
By the way the law's written, I could appoint the deputies.
You can.
I technically can appoint the deputies, but I won't do that.
Okay.
Our system's always been that the chiefs have made and chosen their deputy, and I think that's a good thing. Because
absolutely.
The chiefs in their zone want to pick somebody they can work with.
And trust.
Yeah. Right. I don't want to pick somebody because he's my buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm buddies with all these guys.
Of course. Right.
They're all brothers, but I mean, like, you guys pick the guy you want to work with.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love to me
Absolutely.
that's 100% buy-in.
100%. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah,
I don't want to make a decision down in, zone 3 or 2 or 4 and say, nope, you're going to use this guy.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. If there's not connectivity, man, you're going to have issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, and again, you know,
right.
If you don't have cooperation within your own agency,
right. There's a lot of challenges. There's challenges on the fire grounds.
Explain some of those.
Well, you're there for a resource. You're there as a resource guy. Well, sometimes you're not needed for resources. They got all the resources with their first or second or third alarm, but on occasion they might need somebody to do something else.
So what's a policy say? How is it that the deputy fire coordinators get sent to a job? How does it happen?
There's a protocol. 3 companies on a confirmed fire.
Okay.
Confirmed structure fire. And then there's other responses for forest fires. We get notified for every hazmat call.
Okay.
Hazmat wants it that way.
And that notification or notification and response?
No, well, they're all notifications.
Okay.
Okay. And I leave it up to the deputies to decide if they're going to respond or not. We don't really go to too many of the hazmat calls unless it sounds like it's going to be something. And
right.
There's been a few of those.
Yeah.
And, the hazmat chief likes to know that there's somebody there. You need a couple extra decon teams or a couple extra hazmat teams to support them, then we can help them get that stuff.
So listen, there's probably someone watching that knows what a fire coordinator is, but doesn't necessarily know what a fire coordinator does. Do me a favor and just walk me through what the deputy, his responsibility is, or her, at the scene of a fire.
Their responsibility is to assist the incident commander with resources.
Okay, so you're a resource leader,
right?
Essentially,
basically, you're a resource leader.
Okay,
and like I said, most of the time that's what your job is. There's other times, like I said, when they have plenty of equipment there,
right?
But they may need something specialized, or they may need something on the fire ground. Like that, they may not have enough officers there. They might, they might need an accountability guy. Anything.
So it's not uncommon for the chief to say to you, "Hey, listen, we're good resource-wise,
but can you do this for me?
But I need operations."
And that's kind of an unwritten thing.
Okay.
There's no set policy to say that.
Well, there never should be.
Right. We're there to help.
Right.
We're there to help. We're not there to do anything else but help. And if we're not needed, we all have families and lives of our own. Turn around and go back home.
What's the requirement to become a coordinator? What do you need?
Deputy coordinator, I think you need to have been a chief at least 2 years, 10 years in the fire service, all your I classes.
Right, of course, right.
The 21 county fire coordinators were pretty much the first group of guys in the state of New Jersey to get I-400 training.
Okay.
The state hired a retired battalion chief from LAFD.
Wow.
He came in up Middlesex Fire Academy. That's when a 400 was a full 3 days.
Oh yeah.
It was.
400 is no joke.
Yeah, it was no joke.
Yeah.
And he taught all 3 days Tommy Bahama shirts.
Oh,
this guy was cool. This guy was awesome.
That's great.
I'm like, what is this dude doing? He's in a Tommy Bahama shirt. We're in Middlesex County Fire Academy doing I-400 that everybody was paranoid about at the time.
But, just seeing him like that already is going to put you at ease.
Yeah, the funny part so day 2 we're doing tabletops.
Ugh, those are so fun.
Yeah. Take a guess what our incident was, the table I was sitting at.
Flood.
Forest fire.
Oh, forest fire. That makes sense.
So you're the IC. Nope. I'm not doing it. One of you guys do it. I already do it.
I already did this.
Yeah. Somebody else. But it was actually it was long, but it was a great 3 days.
Right.
And get that under your belt early and get it, just training, man.
So when Brian Gabriel is not being a fireman and a fire coordinator, what does he do? What do you do with yourself?
Everybody works.
Everybody works, right?
Everybody works.
Any hobbies?
Yeah, I race sailboats fairly competitively.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool summer thing.
Right.
It's, everybody thinks, blow boat, sailboat, bop. Well, I'll challenge anybody to get on the boats that we race, and when you get done for the day, you tell me you're not tired and beat up. But fish.
Okay, good.
Used to play a lot of golf, but not as much as I used to. But
I also play golf, and
well, you call it weed hockey though, right?
I do,
yeah, okay.
Because I typically will lose at least 3 sleeves of balls.
Kill about 4 dozen worms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the divots are like the size of grenades went off.
That's what I call a worm burner.
Yeah, I don't proclaim to be a very good golfer at all.
You play army golf, left, right.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if I want the ball to go straight, I just position my body this way, and then the ball will go that way. But we usually play best ball anyway in a tournament, so wherever the ball lands, we use their ball.
You cheat.
Yeah. It's okay. It's good.
Those are the hobbies. I mean, you can't have too many hobbies, but
right.
There's not enough hours in the day to do them all or be decent at any of them.
So let me ask you this, Chief. When you've had enough, and at the end of the day you're frustrated and pissed off or whatever it is, something. What gets you back to center? What gets you back to getting in the driver's seat and going where you got to go?
Just think about it's about helping people.
Right.
Just about helping people and just being there and just doing the right thing. It's hard. I like the job. It's fun.
Right.
It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. We get put into some situations. Back to the fire coordinator thing. You know, on occasion, I've been accused of being the beard police. I don't like it. It's not my job.
Right.
But with the way that the world is now with litigation and lawsuits, some dude shows up on a fire ground. He's got a beard. Even though I'm not the IC,
Yep.
I got to say something.
Bro, that is such a touchy subject right now in the
God.
fire service.
Oh my
That
God.
is,
Dude, I have people who won't talk to me.
I know.
But I don't care.
But you know what it is?
Listen,
It's important, man. If you don't say something,
no.
you're going to hang,
By law, listen,
right?
talk to Chief Lightbody.
Yep.
He, you know, and there's another great guy, you know, great, smart as, you know.
Yeah, another legend in the fire service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I mean,
Yep.
him and I did, you know, we were on a lot of jobs together in Eastover, but wealth of knowledge, and, you know, he steered me onto this. There's actually a 2C law where you can be held criminally liable for allowing someone on the fire ground to do something in an unsafe fashion, or not just a fire ground, at any scene,
Right.
In an unsafe fashion. So if I'm at a job with you, and you're the IC, and there's two dudes walking around with a beard,
Yeah.
I gotta say, hey Frank, not my job, but I'm letting you know that there's two guys there, and if I let you know, then guess what? The ball's back in your court.
Absolutely. And you know,
I have to. I'm not losing my house.
No, of course not. Of course not. Chief Michael from Stafford, she's past chief
Yeah.
in Stafford. She had that challenge too, where she had to turn people away at a fire.
Her and I talked about it multiple times.
Yep. And she said, "Look, you don't understand. I can't.
No.
I can't let you on the fire ground with a beard.
No.
Because if you get hurt, I'm not hanging for it."
I got a great story for that one.
Let's hear it.
So we're going to
Show's all about stories, brother.
we're going to the 1 million square foot warehouse fire up in North Brunswick.
Okay.
Big deal, you know.
Sounds like
so
it.
they call us. They call. You know, I get a phone call. Hey, can you put together a tanker task force? Sure. When you need it? Well, we'd like to have it by 3 or 4 p.m. whatever the time was.
Right.
All right, no problem. So instead of, you know, I like to do things on the QT rather than like have people start hitting pagers out. I'll go to my deputies and say, hey, get me a tanker from your zone, tanker here, just so we spread the wealth a little bit.
Right. Right.
So we had 4 or 5 tankers.
Okay.
I said, here's the deal. We're going to meet at the wall rest area at 2 o'clock. I'm going to escort them up so we get to the right spot, and we'll go from there. Be prepared to stay for 24 hours. That's our out-of-county response is, whether it's tankers or just a full, you know, strike team task force, 2 engines, rescue ladder, chief's gig.
I want to stop you for a second.
Go ahead.
Okay, you just said something that triggered something with me.
Sure.
So you said be prepared to stay 24 hours.
Yep.
Okay. So now that chief or that officer is going to tell their crew when they get there, be prepared to stay 24 hours.
Yep.
How many of those people within 3-4 hours of the incident go, oh, by the way,
You got to go work.
I got to go to work?
No, I make that specifically clear.
Yeah. It happens every time.
Fortunately, it hasn't happened of late because I try to make it pretty clear.
Yeah, you have to.
If your guys got to go to work at 8 o'clock tonight, thanks, but you got to get somebody else in the truck because
Right.
we may be here for 24 hours.
Or plan to have a relief show up to.
No, we're going to be here for 24 hours.
Right.
So you're it. You can go, great.
Right.
So all these tankers, I'm at the wall rest area sitting there. There's a trooper sitting, he was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 parking spaces away sitting there. So he says, what's going on? I said, we're staging some resources here. We're all going to go up together to the fire in North Brunswick. He goes, oh, all right, cool. So here comes a tanker in. Here comes another tanker in. I think we're taking 5 up. It doesn't matter where they were from.
Right.
So I said, all right, everybody park. We'll have a quick little briefing on where we're going, what we're up against, what we might be doing. You know, I had a feeling what we were going to be doing.
You're not going to know until you get
but
there.
I didn't know if we were going to be in the shit.
Right.
Or if we're going to be staged someplace,
Right.
covering firehouses, or part of an operation.
Yeah, doing ponds.
Right, which was probably one of the most unbelievable pond operations I ever seen. Those guys up there, they do it really well. But it was really cool. So anyway, we all meet, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" And the guys are like, "What?" I said, "We're going to a 1 million square foot warehouse fire. They're calling hazmat teams from all over the state of New Jersey, and 3 of you dudes got beards." No, I swear to God.
I'm laughing because
said-
I could see it.
I said, here's the deal. You better hope that one of the stores in the rest area
Has an electric razor.
has a razor and shaving cream,
Right.
or you guys can't go. They're like, what? Oh, wow. Dude, I'm not taking you to another county or anybody place for that matter.
Right.
And putting you possibly in the crap.
Right.
So these two dudes ran in there, come back out with a little airplane bottle of shaving cream,
right.
and like a 3-pack of razors, and they were all shaving. You know, the Scott bottle doors on the side of the truck?
Yes.
The one tanker, they were stainless. They were using it as
a mirror.
Like this. And the trooper calls me over. He goes, what's going on? So I told him.
You should be like, oh, it's a ritual. I can't tell you.
He goes, I told him, he goes, you're a prick. I said, sorry, but I had no choice.
Yeah.
So I took pictures of it. Actually, about 2 months ago, I ran into one of the guys. You run into so many guys, you forget them all.
Yeah.
So this guy, I ran into this guy. He goes, you don't remember me? I said, no. He goes, I'm a member of so-and-so. He goes, I was one of the dudes you made shave.
Did he have a beard?
No.
Oh.
No. He goes, he's still a fireman. So he goes, I didn't get it at the time. He goes, but I get it.
Right.
He goes, that was my bad. I said, you're not mad at me. He goes, no. He goes, I'm not mad. It's just, but that was a great story, though.
That is fun. That's hysterical. But again, it rings back true to the message that, you know, you have to be prepared, and if you're not, you're not.
Exactly.
You know, and again, that's kind of a big problem right now.
It is, and there's a bunch of those different type of issues in the fire service, but
and
it's everywhere.
So you talk about some issues in the fire service. I'd love to get your take on that, especially your position and your time on since '81. So you know you have a lot of time on. So right. I like to pick.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying.
Right.
Listen, I got 25.
Right,
you know, so I like picking brains of some of the senior guys, right? So
don't call me a senior guy.
You're a senior guy. You look good though.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
You look good. I don't mean it like you're an old man.
Yeah, okay.
But what's your thoughts on Facebook now, social media in the fire department?
I mean, I tell you, I'm torn on that. You know, there's some great little sites on there or pages, whatever you want to call them. I'm not one of these. I'm not big on it, but I'm on there. You know, there's some good information on there. Mm-hmm. You know, good training videos you can watch. But I actually think it kind of splits us a little bit. You know, and the one that gets me the most is the combo nozzle versus the smoothbore nozzle. I mean, you see these guys getting the full-blown pissing contests on Facebook about what's better and what's not better. I mean, come on, give me a break. They both have their purpose.
Right.
You know, why are you guys barking about this on, you know, and the Monday morning quarterbacks.
That's the only thing I hate.
The Monday morning quarterbacks.
See, like the nozzle thing?
It's brutal. I'm good with some of that, but when the guys take it to a different level and start, hey, you know, you're a JA, you don't know what you're talking about, and we've done this. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the little bit of banter back and forth is good if it's clean and it's funny. Like you know, there's some great pages out there now on social media. Like one is Zoo Crew Fire Training. I don't know if you had a chance to see that. Those guys are freaking hysterical, but they take the fire service and they bring the fun of it out, and they make it fun and make it humorous, but there's never any negative banter. They're never bashing anybody. It's just fun, you know, and people love it. I laugh my ass off every time I watch it. It's hysterical. Guys like that are doing the fun part of it, that social media is great, but I hate when I go on there.
The Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, like, they'll analyze a video.
If you're not there, you have no idea.
Exactly.
You have no idea. You have no clue.
Unless it's blatantly obvious, but guess what? If it's that bad, why don't you private message the fire department and say, hey, just a heads up, I don't know if you noticed or not because you were busy on the fire ground, but this happened. Maybe you could talk to your member about it in the future. Don't put it out there on their page so now you make them look like idiots.
They should have done this. They should have done that. They should have called this, and they should have.
Right. Don't do that.
You weren't there. You have no clue.
But if you feel so inclined, if you see something dangerous, right, and you obviously have to say something if you can't sleep at night, then send them a private message. But what happens is everyone's beating each other up, right? Everyone's Monday morning cornerbacking. And then next thing you know, the public reads that too.
Right.
So now the public's like, oh, my God, yeah. Oh, But before that, would they even notice, honestly?
No. No. But, I mean, like I said, Facebook's got good.
And it's got bad.
And it's got bad. And I just don't like the split.
Right.
That potentially can create,
I think Facebook, Instagram, some of these platforms are good for public public education, right? Certainly,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
great PR too.
Hey, I watch a lot of videos, but
Right.
the training videos. Just he picks something up.
Right.
Another tool in the toolbox. You never know.
And for fire companies, I know Roger Hall, episode 1, talks about how Facebook helped him so much, just by getting residents more involved in what they do.
Absolutely.
So it does have its. It's good.
There's great PR potential on Facebook.
Right.
Okay, but I just see some of these sites. I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of guys that post on these things, like they're reporting fires on some of these structure fire at this and this. I'm like, I kind of get it, but I don't get it.
Right.
I'm like, maybe I'm just old school. I don't know. Why do you have to do that?
Yeah.
I think all you're doing is attracting people to these things. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's just, I don't know. That's just one of those things. A lot of people do it.
It's the 21st century.
Yeah, and some people do it just to build camaraderie amongst each other, and I'm cool with that too.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. It's just like it's just one of those things. I'm not totally sold on the whole idea.
No, I get it. It's definitely it definitely takes some time to adjust and to buy in.
Listen, like I said, there's some really good stuff on there.
Right.
I mean, there's some great videos of fires that you can see, and like I said, if nothing more, you might pick up another idea, another thought on something.
Before, you'd mentioned to me about some of the things you do as the chief coordinator and some of the resources you offer to firefighters, and tell me about a phone call you recently got.
Yeah, I got a phone call about 3 weeks ago from a friend. He's a fireman, doesn't matter where.
Okay.
Having a little personal problem, So he called me. He's, I guess, just really down on his luck.
Okay.
Little drinking problem. And he said, dude, I need somebody to talk to. So, I talked to the guy for like a half hour on the phone, but, sometimes I may not be so subtle about some things, and I'll just tell it to you straight.
Sometimes you need that.
No, and that's kind of what I did with him, and, great guy, I'd not do anything for anybody, especially in our county. It doesn't matter where.
Right.
I made some great friends up in other counties just from, coordination meetings and stuff like that. Great to do anything for them. In fact, Mike helped, the Essex County coordinator helped Mike during 9/11.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I think his daughter was up in the area and couldn't get out. And I guess they got her to go towards Fort Lee Firehouse. And the Essex guy made arrangements to
Isn't that the best
Yeah.
part of what
Yeah.
we do? Like the networking,
Yeah.
the people you meet.
Yeah, but this guy's, and I told him, I said, dude, so you're going to lose your family.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got to straighten your shit up. It's just, come on. You've been fighting fire for 25 years.
Yeah.
Do it.
Right.
Stop. Just stop. You need somebody to call me every day. Whatever. But, I think he's doing better. I mean, I'm not saying because of me, but, he called me, so it was kind of cool.
It's great that he called you, and that's the first step, is recognizing that you have a problem.
Yeah, no, I give him credit for recognizing it.
Absolutely.
Some people don't recognize it.
And if they do, sometimes it's too late.
And some people, they hold it in.
Yeah.
And that's when bad stuff starts to happen.
Definitely.
But
So the last thing I'd like to talk to you about before we wrap up is you have a pretty cool picture over there. Tell me about that picture.
oh yeah, that was this fire right here.
Yeah, that's some serious
That
fire.
was, and that's one that kind of stuck with me too. Not that house personally, but the house next to it where the fire started. That was a pretty close friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, and his family barely made it out of that house.
No kidding.
Yeah,
What year was that fire?
I knew you were going to ask that question.
It's okay.
That's got to be about 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay.
And we were out of this building. All of our stuff was over in our we call it the annex building.
Okay.
Which is something else that we use to raise money on now. But this floor was being redone.
Okay.
So we had all our apparatus and gear over there while they were doing the work in here. And so we got a call.
This is gonna fall. You know that.
Well, hold it then. See,
My
mine
hands
didn't
are
fall. But we got a call like 4:45 or 5 o'clock in the morning for possible structure fire. And so at the time, I lived up on Maple Avenue, which is right up the street here. And so I come barreling down the road, pull over to I'm like, damn, it's foggy. It was raining.
Right.
Like thick. And I got out of my truck and I went, that's not fog.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole area was banked down, and the fire was on the other side of the hill in the water.
Oh man, they say now you got serious work.
Yeah, so we had all the guys putting their stuff on, a couple newer guys, and I think my older nephew might have been one of them. Like, dudes, whatever you got in your gear locker, put it on, because wherever we're going, it ain't going to be good.
Right.
And then, like I said, we went up and over the hill on James Avenue, went down the bottom of the hill, stopped, and when we started, we pulled the first hand line off the truck. That house was pancake collapsing in like 4 minutes.
That picture's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, that's the second house. That's the exposure.
Oh, man.
I think here's another one of it right here. So that's the original house.
Right.
That's the exposure.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was. If it wasn't raining, we would have lost the whole block.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother at the time lived one block over here on this side of the hill, and his roof was getting hit with tar balls like that.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and so didn't have a radio. I was on our hand line with another guy, and Eastover got there. I forget who the chief was. It might have been Brian Sowers or Ronkovitz or one of those guys. And I grabbed him. I said, "Get to my chief. Tell him start calling ladders because we're going to need them at the top of the hill. We're not stopping this thing."
Yeah.
It was blowing like 30. If it wasn't wet, that would have been something. So it was already something, but
yeah, that fire goes right into the Rolodex, right?
That goes into Rolodex.
Yeah,
there's been some doozies
yeah.
over the years. The farm market up on Route 37, that was in '86. It was the first night that we were issued our first set of bunker gear.
Yeah, before hip boots.
We were in hip boots.
Yeah.
We were issued the gear that night, and it was like I think we all left the firehouse at probably like 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
Right.
Like 11:45, bing, bang, bang, structure fire, and a lot of guys' gear was toast after that fire. It was black gear. It was red when it was done.
Oh yeah.
Guys with their Scott straps melted. Eastover had the snorkel.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
Melted the asbestos shield off the snorkel.
Holy cow.
Yeah, we ended up having to take a hand line and just hosing the guys off on the snorkel because it was in a tough position.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it melted the hydraulic lines off the thing, and I think we ended up calling Silverton's ladder to come down and
get them off.
No
kidding.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think the only snorkel around here left is in Beach Haven. Right?
Yeah, you might be right.
I think Beach Haven is the only one that's got one left.
And they just used it the other day, too.
Yeah, they use it all the time. I think it's pretty cool.
They used it on a job the other day.
When I first started, I got issued a pair of hip boots and a long coat. I looked like Yosemite Sam in it.
Red ball gloves.
Yep. And we had blue gloves. Those old blue with the yellow.
No, they were rubber. Ours were like the.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have rubber, yeah.
And the red ball gloves, but.
Yeah. It's interesting how and the Philly helmets.
Yeah, we've had some good fires, but I got to tell you that the fire coordinator thing is, like I said, not something I ever aspired for, but
here you are.
He went, and
yeah,
it's hard to believe it's been 16 years.
It's been 16 years since we lost Mike.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it'll be 16 years this year.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I think. Well, it was 2003. I think he died.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's a shame, man.
Yeah, and it's been like a blink. It seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
It just seems like yesterday. But it's like, you can't say. For me to sit here and talk about Mike, I think it's actually kind of unfair because there's so many other guys that have so many more experiences with him than from work than I ever did. But
right.
We had some fun.
It was an honor to be part of his life.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's great.
Yeah. What else you got?
Well, do you have any thoughts before we wrap up?
Any thoughts?
Anything you'd like to say?
Well, I think what you're doing is a really good thing.
Thank you.
I really do. I think you asked me back in October or whatever it was. You're like, dude, you got to come on this show. I'm like, what show?
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to talk to me after the first of the year.
Right.
A lot going on,
Yeah.
But no, it's an honor to do it. I think you're on the right track. And, I don't know if anybody will take anything from this episode, but if they do, then that's great.
They will. They absolutely will. And everyone that I've had on so far, someone has reached out to me and said, I love that episode because X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. And we were talking about it before, like the talent in Ocean County.
Oh yeah.
There's so many guys.
I'm just scratching the surface, bro.
No. There's so many guys. Like you. Fire coordinators kind of behind the scenes. A lot of people don't get what goes into it. But think about guys like our instructors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like to me, they're like the unsung heroes. Mm-hmm. Not just at all the academies, Tom's River, Ocean County, the brick one.
Molding the future.
Right, the guys that train privately. I mean, that offer instruction. I mean, listen, those guys are the guys they're getting it done. They're getting it done in ways that no one really even understands, unless you're going to the class.
Right.
We got a fire academy down there. They've come a long way with the instructors, with the county and everything.
Ocean County?
Yeah, which is awesome.
Light years.
Tom's already got their new build. I mean, we got a lot of great resources. And I'll tell you what, if I have questions on something, I got a lot of people I can go to. I talk to guys all the time. Joey Jupes. Mm-hmm. I think about some of the guys that have been coordinators.
Right.
Jupert.
Right. These guys are legends.
They're legends.
Legends, right?
They're legends. Aaron Heller. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Aaron. Oh God.
I mean,
another squared away guy.
Him and I talk. We don't see each other often.
Right.
But, either text or a message about something.
He'll watch a show, guaranteed.
Oh no.
Guaranteed.
He's an awesome guy.
Yep.
I've always respected that guy. I'd do anything for him, whatever I could. But we've both faced some similar personal things over the years.
Right.
And we've talked about it a little bit. But just think about some of the guys that have been coordinated. Butch Bradley up in Point Beach, and the guys we have now. It's just awesome guys. Donnie Holt was like the first Zone 5 guy. I mean, some incredible guys. Jake Newman from Tom's River.
Oh, Jake, yeah.
Billy Barron out in Manchester. I mean, just really, really top quality guys.
Absolutely.
Just to be able to follow in some of their footsteps. Whether you're a deputy coordinator or the chief coordinator, I don't think it matters to me.
Yeah, it's all one big happy family.
It's one big family, and our guys are active. I got to tell you right now, our guys are active.
Oh yeah, you always see them on the fireground, and they're working.
They're doing something.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
they're doing something.
No one's loafing.
And they're providing a service. And it's all part of the. It's just another cog in the wheel, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got the players there. You got a lot of knowledge. I'm not talking about just the coordinators, but on the fireground, your fireground officers. It's a good thing. And if you don't need it, then something. Just like anything else, you don't need the apparatus. You turn around and send them home.
Yeah, it's always good to have the resources and turn them away than not have them.
Yeah, but there's a blend there. You don't want to go too crazy.
Right.
You don't want to go stripping somebody's town for no reason. But
yeah, exactly.
You just it's nice to be a part of a group that's we've come a long way. We've come a long way. I mean, when Mike took it over, the things that he did to modernize things, and then I've kind of tried to have done the same thing.
Right, you can build on that.
And there's a lot more to go.
Right.
And I can tell you this: I don't see our guys getting any slower. I see them just getting. Look at Lakewood.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ, how many thousands of runs a year are those guys doing?
I'm going to hit you real quick with a
whatever you got.
I'm going to hit you real quick with a difficult question.
Difficult or typical?
Difficult.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I think this is happening a little too much now, more than ever, and I think I attribute most of this to social media because I think that's part of the problem. But talk to me about freelancing at a fire scene.
Oh God.
Is it a problem?
It's a problem. I don't think it's as big of a problem as it used to be. Okay. As far as I'll talk about it from an apparatus side.
No, I'm talking about people showing up in POVs.
Oh yeah. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. I think for the most part it's well intentioned.
Of course, I'm not taking that away from that.
It's well intentioned.
Absolutely well intentioned. Right. There's no malice.
Sometimes it gets in the way.
Right.
Blocking a street, whatever the case may be, and it's just it just adds a little bit of confusion.
Right.
But we've had problems in the past.
Have you had to talk to companies or individuals about freelancing?
Not so much on the individual side, but on the response side.
Right.
We had one not that long ago. We requested a piece of apparatus, and something else showed up with it, and it's happened. Listen, no one's immune to.
Right.
It's happened all over the place before. But now with the way the laws are, after 9/11, you want to talk about freelancing. I mean, 9/11, there was miles of backup of resources on the turnpike
Right.
from other states.
Right, they weren't even requested.
Weren't requested,
Right.
well-intentioned.
And the problem is, what happens if they get killed, or what happens if you can't find them?
And that's the problem.
Right, because no one even knows they're there. It's like ghosts.
And that's the problem.
Right.
I mean, we've had it on some forest fires. We had it on the Warren Grove forest fire, where there was an ambulance that showed up from New York. Yeah. Somebody goes, "You call an ambulance from New York?" I said, "No."
Well, they're here.
They're here. Well, I said, "Key the microphone. I'll tell you right on the microphone. They can go home, but thanks, but no thanks."
Thank you, but no thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
We've had some problems, but we've addressed those things and try to address it quietly. So, there's no reason to make a big
Right.
publicity stunt about it. You go talk to somebody.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because there have been a couple chiefs that I've talked to that had that frustration. Like, look, I have enough of my own resources to worry about.
Correct.
And the next thing I know, there's someone standing there with gear from another company, dirt apparatus in there, but they're there, and now I have to kind of figure out why they're there. If is there apparatus there? Did they come?
It creates a little confusion.
Right. They're standing in the manpower pool and like, wait a minute, whoa. You haven't been through accountability. I have no idea who you are, where you're from. I mean, maybe they know who they are personally, but they're not part of that scene. So
Right. And well, that's one of the reasons why our forest fire plan works as well as it does.
Right. Because you have to check into staging, right?
When the staging gets set up,
Right.
and we try to get that set up as soon as we can.
No,
but they're playing catch up.
The fire marshal's office does an awesome job with
Are you
that.
kidding me?
Phenomenal.
No, they're
phenomenal.
We have a system.
Right.
We have a great system, and there's no individuals in it. You got the marshals, you got the coordinators, the radio room people. We got a great system in play. And I got news for you: forest fire, the relationship, and that all started with
Mike.
back with Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've just expanded that so much. I mean, I spend time in the spring. I go out and burn it down in Section 5 with Scotty, and just because I want my face to be put to their name so they know who I am.
Right.
I just think that goes a long way.
Of course it does. Yeah.
Scotty and I go way back on some of these fires that he's been as section warden, and when he was up in the towers and stuff like that. But our plan works.
Right.
And it works well.
And it only works because you're all working together.
That's correct. Everybody goes. It's chaos for the fire marshals. They organize it. They put them in strike teams. If we need the strike teams, like the last one down there behind Intermediate South.
Oh yeah.
Kenny was kind of the IC on the thing.
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, we got to get strike teams here. Okay, call the fire marshal. Hey, how many you got? Boom. They'll give you a call every couple minutes. And we got this many strike teams. Or hey, chief, you might want to call a few more.
Right.
Resources. But that works great, and you cut out a lot, if not all, the freelancing there.
I'll tell you what. Just a quick thing on the fire marshal's office. Recently, we had that nursing home. I'm not going to mention where, but down south there was a nursing home that had some problems, and we had to do an evacuation.
Right.
And that's like, oh, by the way, we're doing an evacuation. And you know how that is. You have all these patients. Some are bedbound. Some had trachs. There's all kinds of different challenges in that. And now you're going from fire ground operation to now you're escorting and assisting EMS and trying to get all these people out of this building. Dennis Allen, right? Chief Dennis Allen.
I jinxed him 2 weeks ago. He's mad at me still.
Let me tell you something, all right?
Sorry, Chief.
I love him.
He's a great guy.
Dude, you want to talk about a solid brother?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's one of those guys, right?
Totally agree.
So Dennis, I try to say hi to him. He's so focused on getting that trailer placed, getting the staging trailer placed, making sure that everything's out of the way.
It's important.
But I'm telling you, he's literally like fast walking he's moving this car, he's moving that car, he's moving this car, he's moving room, he's pushing people out of the way. I mean, he's so focused on the task at hand.
No, those guys do an awesome job.
Yeah.
Either they're scanning tags or T-card and everything.
Right.
It works really well.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Right. It's a well-oiled machine. Yep. And if needed be, they could break into two groups depending on the size of the incident.
Right. It's just good to see the resources, being managed so well. It's getting better.
From where we came, and from the fire in 94, 95.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no comparison.
there's no comparison.
Right.
And that's how, like I said, that's how that plan came into play because of
Right.
all the freelancing that was going on, and Chiefs vehicles just showing up and running around wherever they felt like running around.
Yeah. Times have changed.
It was bedlam.
Yep.
We don't even, in our plan, we don't even use a lot of Chiefs vehicles. And it actually kind of says that in our plan. If you want to go play on the truck,
Get on the truck.
Make sure there's a seat on the truck if you're going to bring your Chiefs vehicle. It's probably going to get parked.
Right.
We'll use some of the local guys for the strike team leaders and stuff like that. But that's an awesome resource to have, and they have it down to a science.
Great.
They have it down to a science, man. They're good.
Chief, I appreciate coming on the show.
Yeah,
I hope you had fun. I definitely
this
did.
This is awesome.
And thanks again for this cool backdrop. Like some people would have to pay for something like this to be in the back.
I'll take you for a ride one day.
I'm going to take you up on that.
No, dude, it's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Thanks so much, Chief. I really appreciate it.
I got a little patch here for you from the fire company.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah. So
what do you got there?
Just our little patch.
Nice. I'm going to add to my collection because I'm starting to collect these now from all the people I meet. That's awesome.
It's cool.
There it is. I got a patch, and I also got something for you.
Do you? What do you got? Nice.
Yeah, I got a couple things for you.
Boy.
First, of course, now that you're an alum,
oh boy,
you get the PintheQ patch from Eagle Emblems and Graphics.
Wow.
I mean, the detail on it's ridiculous, right?
That is cool.
I like the reflection that's come off the Q. And of course, everyone has to have decals, right? You have to have, so you got your fire coordinator's helmet.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have your fire company helmet, right? And then, of course, you got to have a sticker for Car 11. Right?
Absolutely.
So there's your stickers.
Car 11, which you built out, by the way.
That car is pretty badass. It's recognizable from the rims. It's got the coolest rims on them.
Yeah, we changed that out just to, we talked about that. The stock rims, we didn't like that. But
no, you had to be different.
No, I don't want, just wanted it to be nice. That's
no, listen, it's got bling. A lot of people like the bling.
You wouldn't stop talking about that damn light bar for you're like, dude, we got to put this light bar on.
It was the newest and craziest thing.
You're out of control.
Yeah, but look at it.
I know.
It's still holding up. And that's awesome. How long ago was that?
It's like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah, at least, right? 5 years ago, at least.
Yeah.
And that thing still looks awesome.
Yeah. It's a good truck.
So this episode is sponsored by Next Rung. Now, if you're not familiar with Next Rung, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them because they are an unbelievable organization. These guys are fantastic people. I had an interview recently, a live interview with Blake from Next Rung. Awesome guy. He's a firefighter in Georgia. And what's cool is this organization here. You were talking to me before about the guy who called you and he was telling you you have some problems, some problems drinking. What's cool about this organization is this is kind of what they do, right? So their nextrung.org is their website. Their Nextrung, NEXTRUNG. And you can find them on Instagram, or as Chris Hansen calls it, the Gram.
The Gram.
The Gram. So I'm just going to read real quick to you what they talk about here. So Next Rung's mission is to help first responders see the true value in their mental health and wellness. In our line of service, the mentality and attitude we approach each day is critical, and I believe that 100%. I mean, that's true. Through offering peer support, scholarships for licensed counseling, we hope to serve the community, those who give themselves and their community on a daily basis. That is awesome.
That is awesome.
These are guys giving back.
No, absolutely.
Right.
You asked me before, what gets you back on the straight and narrows?
Yeah.
That girl right there does.
Your girlfriend. Yeah.
She brings a little levity to things, straightens your ass right out.
Good. Yeah, you have to have people that that keep you centered.
No, absolutely.
That's good.
Got to get a little balance.
Yeah, so
it's not easy.
She's been watching the show and watching it. And I was really kind of hoping she wasn't going to make you laugh.
No,
but she did.
I didn't even look over there. He told me don't look that way.
Yeah, but if you look over there, that's when it all goes south.
I'm not looking.
All right, and then of course I just want to also talk about quickly the New Jersey Firemen's Home.
Yeah,
and you said you're familiar with this home.
Yeah, well, Roger
Hall,
another great resource.
Absolutely.
And listen, when you say resource, it's not just about fires.
Right.
Forget that. Somebody you can go talk to. He's managing the Firemen's Home.
Absolutely, yeah.
What a great idea, and it's really cool. I mean, he took over for Tommy Miserandino.
Yes, and Tommy passed away.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're not familiar with the Firemen's Home, it's in Boonton,
right.
And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool thing. I got this pamphlet that explains it.
I think Billy Hobson followed Tommy, right? And then it was Roger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Billy Hobson followed Roger.
But I think it's great. The three guys from that company just step to step. And now Roger's turn at it. I think it's phenomenal.
And listen, Don Wiesner's still there.
Yeah.
He's still,
He's still there, yeah.
Yeah.
Roger goes up and sees him all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's cool. Episode 1, he talks all about it.
There's another county coordinator.
Yes, that's
That's
correct.
who Mike took over for.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, he took over for Don.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I remember as a kid, he had a white fire truck, and we used to pump that white fire truck outside the back of the firehouse all the time. I don't remember what it was. I know he still has it, but yeah. But anyway, the Fireman's Home is in Boonton. Their website is www.njfh.org. And again, this is when firemen need a place to go.
Yeah, whether they got nothing else or,
Yep. So that's a really good thing, and I promised Roger I'd talk about that.
They're offering even more than that, though. They're offering, home care.
Right.
For Alzheimer's, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
I think they're trying to help with some of that stuff, and
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Joe Hankins is a big player in that too in the county.
So it's a 8,000 square foot 2-story museum. They also have that too. So they have a museum in there, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna check that out. I gotta go see what that's about.
You're gonna go.
I'm gonna go check it out.
You're gonna reserve your bed up there now?
Oh, is it? Are you saying I'm gonna be at the Boonton's Fireman Home?
No.
Listen, listen. I'll go there. It looks like it's cool.
That'd be a great place.
As long as the food is good, I'll go anywhere. All right, there it is,
All right,
episode 11 here on PintheQ Podcast. I hope you have as much fun as I did. I certainly did. It was a lot of fun seeing the Chief once again. We're friends, so it made it a little easier. Also, I got to give a quick shout out to Chief Miller. Thank you so much for the support. He also, before I forget, I have a decal for you somewhere over here.
That's on the floor right there, buddy.
It fell.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, there it is.
You better pick it up.
Yeah. Well, can you pick it up? Because I'm holding my microphone.
You're gonna ask the old guy to do that?
If I let go, this thing is going to fall because my C-clamp does not like me today. All right, here we go. Yeah, so there's the helmet decal, reflective helmet decal by Chief Miller. That's yours as well.
That's cool.
That's from the Chief. He sent that. And, of course, my boy Drew, Fire Reviews, right? I've been drinking this cold coffee out of this mug, but it's okay.
Told you needed a 24.
Well, listen, it's like iced coffee. It's the same deal.
Absolutely.
All right, episode 12 is coming at you. I'm going to be announcing that guest real soon, so look for that. Remember, check out the Instagram page. Every episode gets mentioned on that. Also, all the upcoming episodes get mentioned on that as well. Be sure to stop by the website, www.pintheq.com. Chief, take care. Thanks again. And don't forget, I'm coming back to take a ride on that.
Anytime, buddy.
All right, be safe, be careful, and look out for each other.